Kagurabachi Chapter 100. Oh man, what a good chapter this was. A lot of setup, a little bit of lore drop, just, oh man. This is a really good chapter, sets up for who even knows what at this point. I think predicting what's going to happen is kind of difficult, but I'll get right into it. The chapter starts out with this really nice panel, these two pillars stretching all the way down to where the sword master is being held. Then we get some dialogue between from Yura talking to the sword master, saying he can talk to him due to the Shinichi, even though they're so far apart. And then on the first page, there's this really cool panel, like a flashback panel of the sword master in the war. And I really hope we get a full extended flashback of what actually happened during the war, like all the details. I mean, I assume we are eventually, but I really hope that does happen. It's not just kind of hearsay bits and pieces. We actually get the full story, but that's probably way down the line. Then right off the bat, we get this awesome double page spread. The sword master, Akemura Soga. I mean, the aura this guy has is incredible. And I saw some people saying that maybe, because like the dots on the jacket, maybe he's related to Sojo in some kind of way, or has some connection to him, because Sojo had those kind of tattoos on his like chest, his shoulder, similar to those dots. I don't think it's likely, especially considering his relation to Chihiro we hear later in the chapter, but it's an interesting thought. And just the swag on this guy, the dark eyes. I mean, the centipede. This dude is a legitimate threat. And he's I won't skip ahead in the chapter, but yeah, just the way he acts is just not what I expected at all. It's a really nice surprise. But on the next two pages, we get a lot of setup, a lot of commentary, some of which we already knew. Just saying, like, this guy, Akamura, he killed 200,000 people in the war on Shokoku. Then the Kaminabi detained him, imprisoned him for 18 years. And then a lot of people thought this guy went crazy. He snapped, and that's why he killed all these people. And even if he wasn't crazy then, he's gonna be crazy now, because he's been in solitary for 18 years. 18 years without a single contact with another human. Just in like no senses, no awareness of the outside world until recently with the swords and the Shinichi, but even then it's extremely limited, and no conversations with any other people. So, after all this setup, Yura's like, and now after 18 years of silence, this is the first human contact. Actually, that wasn't Yura talking, that was just the narrator. Then Yura says, "Swordmaster, we meet at last. I've come to kill you." And then the first thing we hear from the Swordmaster is he's just like, "Man, I haven't spoken to anybody in a while. Is it cold out there?" And man, I was not expecting that. This dude, he is completely sane. Not crazy at all. Well, he might be, but he's not like mentally crazy. He's not like mentally ill or anything. He's just been chilling by himself for 18 years. He just wants to know if it's cold out there. And it's just, I was not expecting that. This is the kind of almost just cold, ironically calculated personality we're starting to see from Akamura, this guy. It's just almost chilling. So the Swordmaster says, "Slaughtering hundreds of thousands and then going insane, wouldn't that be convenient?" And just to think, the way he's talking like this, the way he's basically cracking jokes, he's just so calm. Again, not what I was expecting, but I really like it. But then he just drops a crazy line. He goes, "Based on my beliefs and ideals, I chose to kill all those people and to protect this country and its people." I mean, this dude's basically acting like Paul Tibbet, who dropped the H-bomb in Hiroshima. And just, it's almost to be expected, that level of clarity, but it just caught me off guard. It's a crazy line, and he's almost implying that he would do it again if the situation arose. No regrets. I mean, he chose to do it as calculated, premeditated, just a really cold personality, calculated, which is kind of encapsulated and enthralling right off the bat, our first time really interacting with him in the manga, besides just seeing him and hearing about him. And then even Yura, who's a wild card, is surprised by this. He's like, astonishing. I think he's still sane after all this time, and he did all that with a level, clear head. But they keep on talking on the next page, and then on this page we get a crazy lore drop, and he says, or the sword master says, "Is my brother-in-law, is Kunishige Rokuhira dead?" That's crazy. Also, I'll point out, people have been saying the translation's wrong, because the English translation just says brother, which is a little vague, but the Japanese original makes it kind of clear that he means like brother-in-law. That can be interpreted kind of both ways, but brother-in-law would be a better translation. So I guess that like this dude's Chihiro's uncle, which is just crazy. Like, and Chihiro doesn't know. I mean, I don't even know if Shiba knows. That's just a wild lore drop I was not expecting. And we're probably setting up for an eventual family clash between the two of them. But maybe not, I'm not sure. Honestly, I can't be sure about predicting anything with this story anymore. But Yura just says to him bluntly, "Yeah, I led a plot to kill him." And before I move on, I'll point out the eye flow in this chapter. We got some diagonal movement from the top left to the bottom right. Simple but effective, really nice. And they keep on talking. He's like, that makes sense. Yeah, I figured he was dead since the enchanted blade started moving. And Yura's just like, yep, that was the plan. And then we see the flowers sprout up. The sword starts to appear in front of Yura. And Yura starts to give a little bit of his own rationale, his own thought process. "I've come to correct the mistake of those so-called heroes. I approve of malediction." So, again, going back to how he lied to Samura back then, etc. And he intends to use the sword to its fullest extent, presumably to kill again hundreds of thousands of people. He says that Rokuhiro sealing away the swords was a tremendous mistake, that it should never have been done. But on the next page, we go back to the scene from the last chapter with Hakuri, Kuri, and Hagiwara. And then I'll point out the eye flow, another diagonal eye flow from the top left, bottom right. Then that last panel in the bottom left breaks up the eye flow to put like a little bit of a natural emphasis on that panel, the zoom in panel right there. Just kind of a shock reaction from everybody seeing the flowers sprout out of the dead bodies. Then I'll point out on that middle panel, really good use of the rule of thirds there. That's a really nice framed panel with the three of them in the top left corner kind of, and the bottom right corner being those two bodies, as well as the hole in the wall kind of taking up that other third. Just really well framed. On the next page, the eye flow structure is essentially the same as it was in the last page. Going from the top left to the bottom right with a emphasized zoom in panel on the bottom left, the last panel of the page. Then so we get a little bit of a internal dialogue from Hakuri, where he's basically realizing the effects of the Shinichi are stronger right now than they were the Rakuzaichi. Where instead of taking out just ordinary gangsters, it's having a extreme effect on strong sorcerers in the Kaminabi. Then we get a little bit of a dialogue from Yura saying that he thought he had to take on the role as like the bearer of the Shinichi, because if the Swordmaster was insane, he needed someone who was more put together to take on the role of bringing more order to the world. He figured he would do that himself, but he's leading up to saying that he essentially wants to join forces with the Swordmaster now that he realizes the state his mind is in, who he actually is. And I'll point out the eye flow on this page too. Really just going down the middle from the sword in the top panel, down the middle to the Swordmaster in the bottom. Kind of just making the center point of the chapter, the literal center point of this page, just going through the middle, while the effects of the Shinichi on the sorcerers are sandwiching Yura in the middle, where Yura, the story is literally in the middle of this, and it's making him art-wise in the middle of this page, with the effects of what he's doing all around him. Just great paneling, very cinematic. So Yura says, "You and I can understand each other." In response, Akemura, Swordmaster, goes, "Who are you?" Showing a little bit of sophistication from him, a bit of skepticism. is maybe they won't join up so easily, because maybe he can see there's some kind of ulterior motive potentially, and he knows better than just to trust somebody randomly off the bat, especially someone with a sword. But then Yura says, let's lead with the enchanted blades correctly, together. Just showing some superiority mindset, just some almost like twisted altruism. And then the shading on him in that panel just really sick. Just a dark figure, a mysterious man. No one really knows where his head's truly at. That's kind of what I think Hokuzona's getting at with that panel. Then also just the circular like dome-esque building in the back looks really nice there. But then this next page is extremely nice. The reaction panel from Yura, and then you see Azumi. And then, yep, it was Azumi's arm that Yura was holding in the last chapter. As you see, I'm missing an arm right here. I'll point out real quickly just the rough perspective of that first panel. Kind of like a triangle formation, but not really. I'm just more so sketching that out for ease on my end. But the perspective's really nice. The way the ooze or whatever that darkness is by the dome where the sword master is looks really nice. And the close-up panel of Azumi's eye, and Yura just says, "You friggin' demon. You fucking demon, Azumi. How are you here? How are you alive?" And he's got fucking flowers sprouting out of him. He's got the electricity around him and the coins, and he's just ready to scrap again. Just honestly, from day one, Azumi's just been one of the coolest characters in this manga. Just a true goat. And just the way his eyes widen when it's ready for conflict, like he's going a little crazy. I really like it. Just the massive pupil too. It's just really intense, which I think Hokuzona's going for, and it works. It really does work. And that leads us into a awesome double page where you see the splash effect from Azumi jumping in, Yura going to attack, blows his other arm off. So now Azumi has no arms. Then immediately, without missing a beat, Azumi turns around, goes for a kick. Just a gruesome, fast-moving, high-motion panel on that left side of the double page. But another nicely placed reaction panel. And I really like how Hokuzono kind of just overlaps stuff all the time, whether it be butterflies or the centipede or just aura effects. He'll just overlap stuff on his panels. And it's just always so nice. It makes the pages really pop. But yeah, the way Azumi's foot looks in that panel is just incredible. The high motion swinging in, and you can see the shadow too. Just really well done. Then as Azumi lands a strike, it leads us into the last two pages of the chapter, where we get a little flashback of the three of them in the Subaru, I think I'm saying that right, Subaru bar, where kind of the story took place in the beginning with Char and Hinao, I think that's her name, who runs the bar. We get a little flashback of the three of them there a number of years ago. Then the last page, my goat Shiba. He's just at the bar, sitting down, and then a rotary phone for the last panel. And we already know what that means. Everyone knows what that means. All it takes is one call and Shiba's there. And I'm pretty sure, like he did at the Sazanami's house before the Rakuzaichi, he can just bypass the barrier. Maybe not. Maybe it's something more complicated with the Kaminabi, I'm not sure. I can't exactly remember how the barrier worked, the Sazanami. Maybe it wasn't explained. But maybe he can teleport everyone who's outside the barrier at Shiro and everybody in and get ready for a real scrap. At the very least, Shiba is gonna be there, most likely next chapter. And just peak hype. Really good chapter. A lot of it was set up, which I honestly should have been expecting, but just great, great chapter. And to potentially see Azumi and Shiba fighting together would be incredible. You know, two of the coolest characters, two of the coldest characters in the series with the coolest abilities. I mean, it's just, we're gearing in for some crazy fights soon. Welcome to the Doffle After Show. Man, I had a lot of mic problems while making this video. And I ended up switching to my music mic. And hopefully the problems weren't too noticeable or too bad. I say that after I already edited pretty much the whole video while I'm recording this part. so I know how bad they were. But I don't think they were terrible. And if you're listening to me now, obviously you made it far enough to agree with me. And yeah, I had so many mic problems, I ended up buying a mic while I was making this video. So hopefully that condenser mic will be more usable than the one I have now. Then the mic I'm recording on right now is just, it's not meant for talking, you know, it's a music mic, you know. But, you know, make the best of it. It's all about creating in the first place. So I'm not too worried about it or anything. But yeah, what a chapter. I mean, I got nothing else to say, but oh man, next week's gonna hit. And I say that every week, whether or not I make a video. But yeah, I'll keep this outro kind of brief, just because the last one was like 5 minutes long. And I don't really got much to say. But yeah, Kagurabachi chapter 100 special video that'll probably come out, if I had to guess, Thursday. I'm gonna get it done before the next chapter comes out, so Saturday at the latest. Probably Thursday is my goal right now, but we'll see where it goes. And hopefully y'all watch that video. I think it'll be really good. I'm doing a decent bit of work for it, so who cares? Who cares how many people watch it? I'm having a blast making the video. It's really fun. So yeah, hopefully Thursday. But I got nothing else for me, for you. So if you made it this far, I don't know, comment. I like talking to people about mangas. If you want to comment, I don't really care if you subscribe, but comment would be cool, blah blah blah. I got nothing else. Peace out.